the evil of that intent.
Today, we're going to tell the story of this Ebony magazine cover from 1961. For those of you who don't know, I'm an artist, but I also currently am playing for the Harlem Globetrotters. This woman is my grandmother.
Well, I modeled, and then when I got married, I went into education.
Yep.
I put modeling aside. I had a doctor at a hospital. At some point, he said he had to schedule an appointment for me to have my ovaries removed. The evil of that intent.
There's a strong lineage of efforts to sterilize Black women.
That's right. So the removal of my ovaries was scheduled. And 1 week before I was to go for the operation, I get a call from Ebony. The American Millinery Association wanted to feature a Black woman on the Ebony cover. So I canceled everything, including the operation, to do this. Because of the next year, my daughter, your mother, was born.
And so ultimately, this cover saved my mom's life and therefore my life.
Yep.
That is crazy. That decision to shoot this cover has a much deeper feeling of connections because of other covers that you've shot. This Jet magazine cover right here, the cover reads, "Lovely Hill, New York beauty models ideal hats for ladies who like to globetrot." The cover quite literally foreshadows the future that you would ultimately instill in me. That's even crazier because you are the first person to buy me a Harlem Globetrotter jersey when I was 9 years old.
And I'm so proud of you. Lights off.
Lights off. That is so nice. Good morning and welcome to another edition of Let It Be Known. And listen, if you still have those elders in your life, the grandmoms, etc., talk to them like that, young man. Sit down and talk to them. Niele, what a nice video.
Yeah, beautiful video. Peace and love, family. We have a lot of headlines to get through today. News from New York, California. Big news coming out for Venus Williams today, and the Boston Celtics have new ownership. We have all the details and so much more. And yeah, beautiful story, Stacy. We love Jet magazine. We love Ebony. Too bad magazines aren't being published anymore.
Right.
Because I know they're truly missed, but thank God they're surviving online for now.
For now, right? Like all of us for now. I mean, that's the way it is. But that, and more importantly, the conversation was so it's inspiring, and also as a reminder. Look, they wanted to sterilize Black women, and is anything different today? They want white women to have as many babies as possible. They don't want y'all Black women having any babies.
Well, thank God for lawmakers like Lauren Underwood, state lawmakers in California for passing the omnibus and just making sure that Black women's health care is at the forefront of this nation. Whether nobody listens or not, you still have to have somebody standing in the gap, speaking up for women's issues. And that's why representation in lawmaking is so important.
Yeah, and isn't that so cool? Like, she bought him a Harlem Globetrotters jersey, and when he was a kid, and he grew up to become one of the Harlem Globetrotters. Really nice. Oh, that history is great. It's just wonderful. We have, like you said, we have several things to get to, and we start. Listen, I wanted to start here because, again, the submission of sometimes overshadows the resistance of others. And Gloria Gaynor, the voice behind the defiant anthem "I Will Survive," is showing no survival skills, or maybe this is how she is showing her survival skills, at least in her mind. She's now headlining Donald Trump's first Kennedy Center honors since he seized control of that institution alongside Kiss bassist Gene Simmons and actor Sylvester Stallone. Trump personally handpicked the honorees, and he boasted that he was 98% involved. And in fact, he said, Niele, that he's probably going to honor himself at next year's event. And an interesting thing, Gene Simmons has been a frequent critic of Donald Trump. In fact, he 2 years ago, he lambasted Trump for, quote, allowing public racism. And of course, Stallone is just, a punch drunk actor, wannabe actor whose claim to fame is being the great white hope boxer. So that all makes sense when it comes to the Trump world. But Gloria Gaynor, it's a bit of a disappointment.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, some people look at things differently, and I want to respect that. Sometimes people are like, "This is my country. It's an honor. It's a Kennedy honor." At the end of the day, Donald Trump is in control, but it's in the legacy of the Kennedy family, and that part of history is still there, as well as funky Donald Trump. So people have their own reasons to do things, but Donald Trump's pickings are slim. You were talking about Kiss and him being critical of Donald Trump, but at the end of the day, Donald Trump's, like I say, his pickings are slim. Not too many people are wanting to publicly be seen or affiliated with the Trump Klan administration. So, I mean, hey, he got what he could get. But I think everybody was more so talking about that bizarre press conference that he held yesterday to announce the honorees. He had the two pageant girls to the left and to the right pulling the red veil off of the honorees, which was very bizarre, very reminiscent to his pageant days, to where he would fondle women and intrude their spaces and touch all on them as they were preparing for the pageants. And then he had that bizarre conversation about grass and how he knows about grass. And that headline trended more than the honorees.
Mm-hmm. Well, and then let's make it clear too. This is no longer the Kennedy Center honors. This is the Melania Trump honors, according to Donald Trump.
Well, it's not official. It's not official.
Well,
it's still the
yeah.
Kennedy honors.
Yeah, and I think that if we criticize someone for going to the White House, we got to criticize Gloria Gaynor for this. And it's hard. I know we don't like criticizing Black people, specifically Black women, but I think she deserves all the smoke in the world for this. We got a clip, I believe, to play.
The story of him. It's because Donald Trump has revealed himself to be not quite the epitome of masculinity that he would like everyone to think.
What do you mean?
Because he has Gloria Gaynor. He has, by the way, Michael Crawford, a.k.a. the Phantom from Phantom of the Opera, who was not named in that roster.
There you go.
But he's going to be there, as well as, and I just have to go and harken back to the Truth Social post he made, in which he said, the reason I'm getting rid of all these board members and I'm going to be the chair of this whole thing is because of the drag queens.
Oh my God, he picked Kiss.
And he picked Kiss. Kiss is a bunch of dudes wearing makeup in spandex, wagging their tongues around. Like,
This
what
is a
are
really
you
good
doing?
Yeah, but
point.
YMCA is his theme song, so
Well,
Listen, he makes a point. He makes a good point, and Gene Simmons is. I think that shows his hypocrisy as well, because he has been, as I said, it'd be like Robert De Niro accepting it. I doubt you'll ever see. I doubt Trump would offer it, but certainly if he woke up, bumped his head, and decided to call Robert De Niro and offer him that, I guarantee you Robert De Niro would deny that and tell him where to stick it. It's like, Denzel Washington made a point last couple of days about Oscars. Somebody asked him about the, what does he, about Oscars, and he was like, he doesn't care about that. He says he has two, and they're somewhere together, but that doesn't motivate or drive him. Gloria.
I don't believe everybody wants to be appreciated for the body of work that they
without
do.
question.
And you can best believe if Denzel Washington is nominated for this new Denzel Washington, he's going to play the politics, show up at all the press junkets and press conferences to campaign to win that Oscar. But they say that because they don't want to build up their expectations. But
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good deal.
And Dr. Jones said, Mr. Scientology, Tom Cruise turned this down as well. I guess she's referring to the Kennedy Center honors.
Yeah,
But
his pickings are slim. His pickings
yeah,
are slim. There's not many people that would accept that. I mean, I wouldn't accept it, but
right.
Gloria Gaynor, her last hit was what from the 70s? I Will Survive. She trying to
Mhm.
survive. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I said at the top. Maybe it's her
He's
way of
trying to
surviving.
survive. I mean, and like I
Uh,
say, as for now, it's still a Kennedy honor. So in the history books, she still will be affiliated with the Kennedy honor. And so I mean, but like I say, to me, it wasn't even the honorees because they were so far and just confusing. But the most confusing part was that horrible press conference that he stood up for 45 minutes. I had time yesterday and I watched it, and I was just like, we are truly living in the Twilight Zone.
you
Truly.
you heard Rod Serling's voice, huh?
I mean,
You're
it
traveling
was
to a new
the
dimension.
Lindsey Graham was there. He told Lindsey
Oh
Graham, "Oh, I
gosh.
saw your polling numbers. They're looking good." What does that have to do with anything? He talked about how he's an expert on grass and how he's going to have to fix the grass in the city of DC. And I'm thinking to myself, when I go to DC, I love to walk the city because it is so beautiful and the grass is so green. I just don't know how this is allowed. How I don't even know how white people allow this to happen.
Well, that's the question I've been asking. That's a question. We criticize. I know I've criticized the other side, the lawmakers on the other side, and I think they deserve the criticism. But at the same time, there is no getting around all of them. The white folks allowing this as well, and many of them are hurting because of it. But yet they're like doing
They're
nothing.
double down. No, they're not. They're
Well,
doubling
they're doubling
down.
down.
They're
Yeah.
doing something. They're doubling down on everything that he is doing. They are cheating. They are conniving, and they are disappointing the American people at the expense of that Klansman.
You gotta wonder what benefits. Where do they're not seeing any benefits for themselves. I mean,
The
this guy,
lawmakers?
right?
I don't
For
know
the
about
most
that.
part,
I don't know about
this
that.
guy is running roughshod over them. He's running roughshod, so I can't imagine that they're getting much that they probably could not have gotten otherwise. The way he is. Now, it could be a couple of them in there that have been, some other side deals, but I just don't get it that even with the deals, okay, they're making money. What else is it? I mean, that nobody stands up. Don't they realize that all dictatorships come to an end?
Well, I mean, if you look at Putin, I mean, and Netanyahu, they surviving and thriving in
Well,
chaos.
but technically they're not dictators, right? Technically, I mean, they're not Kim Jong
I mean,
Un. They're not Idi Amin.
technically, Donald Trump's not a dictator.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then you just gave people more reason to be concerned. Like you said, look how long they've lasted.
Look how long,
So
yeah.
are we gonna be sitting here 10 years from now? He's still here? That's a scary
Not
thought.
if that white man that threw that Subway sandwich at the
Oh
federal
my
agents
gosh.
yesterday has anything to say
Oh my God. What
about
kind of
it.
sandwich was it? Do you know what kind of sandwich it was?
All I
Was
know
it
is
ham
the
and cheese or
Subway.
something?
It was a Subway sandwich. Okay, that's all we
Was
know.
it
Is a Subway
was it
sandwich.
tuna?
But you know what I thought about? They will use that as a talking point for people of color, and it wasn't even a person of color
Wasn't
that
a
did
person
it.
of
They
color.
will use that as a way to double down on why they need to keep the National Guard in DC because of what people are doing. They'll put up pictures of black folks and brown folks when it was a white man that threw the Subway sandwich.
Oh boy. So folks, I want everybody to chime in on this, Niele. As Orangey says he wouldn't have wasted his sandwich on the guy.
Can I say something?
Oh,
Trixie
go ahead.
Subway is nasty, and I agree. I prefer Jersey Mike's over Subway. I'm sorry, I just had to.
Yeah. I listen. I don't think you're gonna get many arguments with Jersey Mike's over Subway. That's for sure. Gris says, "Me too." I haven't been to a Subway in at least a
Me
decade.
neither.
Probably. It's that's y'all can have that. I'm with you and Trixie on that one. Um, this is to me this story here, and again, hopefully, I'll get you guys' opinions or thoughts. But actress Journey Smollett is back in court facing a legal battle that really cuts deep. Her ex-husband, musician Josiah Bell, is demanding half of her retirement savings, including her 401k and Screen Actors Guild pension. Now, she paid him already in the settlement, divorce settlement, $1 million back in 2021, and she pays him a $7,000 a month child support and alimony since their 2019 separation. But her husband's claims hinges on a California community property law, which he's arguing that he's entitled to 50% of the retirement funds she's accrued during their marriage from 2010 to 2019. But her pension contributions date back to when she was just 3 years old. But this idea of this guy, $1 million payout and $7,000 a month he gets in spousal and child support, and he's been getting since 2021. He wants everything, Niele.
Yeah, it sounds like he's still mad at her. You know, a lot of times with I mean, because it can't be about the money because he's definitely getting paid. So it sounds like it's personal, and that he's still mad. Because I mean, he's getting money. You just said he's getting spousal support. You know, is
7,000
he
a month.
getting is he getting child support too?
Well, apparently the spousal and child support combined is $7,000 per month.
Okay, well, yeah, or he's still mad. And and maybe he's looking at her lifestyle and how she's living, and he's living on 7,000 a month and she's living on 200,000 a month, and he wants the same. But it sounds like he's still mad and bitter to me.
Yeah, Dr. Jones says this is so personal, also embarrassing for him to go begging for more money. It's like she built this career. Should he have a legal claim to her future security, or is it just legalized greed? Because that $7,000 a month may not sound like a whole lot, and in actuality is not. But
For
she
her,
started
yeah.
him off. Well, it's not for today's living standards, right? And with kids involved, but it's like if somebody today said, "Stacy, here's $1 million," right? And then you got 7,000 a month going forward. I'm good. I'm good. I should be good, right?
Yeah, but another conversation that has come out of this is like, why is it okay for women to do things like that
Mhm.
and it's justified, but when a man does it, he's less manly. He's less of a man because he should be
Mhm.
able to provide for himself. But that conversation is definitely brewing. Um,
Mhm.
and it's really brewing because of what happened with Sha'Carri Richardson in a Seattle airport when she attacked her boyfriend. She was arrested, and everybody's like, "Oh," and everybody's like, "Well, why don't you have that same energy from when men, defend themselves from women?" And so you have this situation right here in the conversation about, well, when women do it, it's okay because they need to be taken care of. And so you have this conversation of what's good for the goose should be good for the gander.
Mhm.
So I don't know. Chat, let us know what you think.
Yeah, let us know, because you're right, and I also say the same thing when the shoe is on the other foot. I just there some of these payouts are so outrageous, in my mind anyway. May not be to many people, may not be to the person who's getting the payout or giving the payout, but I just think that okay, you've made a decision,
Mm-hmm.
you broke it off,
Mm-hmm.
move on, go. It's like you leave each other alone, right? If there are kids involved, the primary parent should get child support. What I've always had an issue with, especially if we're talking about two working individuals who have equal careers, put it that way, the musician, actor, that spousal support part. Why am I supporting you?
Well, I can
We're not together.
understand that sometimes. I can understand that sometimes if you marry into somebody and they have set up a certain lifestyle for you. So if I marry a millionaire, and well, at this time, at this point in the game, you have to marry a multi-millionaire for it to matter, damn near a billionaire. But if I marry somebody of that stature and I've been married to them for 5 to 10 years, then I become accustomed to a certain lifestyle. Okay. You know, especially if you tell me, you know, this is me and you know, we doing this together, you know, and then you start putting all of your lifestyle into that person's lifestyle, and then you guys get divorced. Yeah, I need to maintain my lifestyle. I need to maintain what you have provided to me when we were in love. Now that we're out of love, it doesn't change.
Right. Well, what if it is you? So you like you know, you went into this marriage and he has this, you know, I'm just painting the picture you just painted about, you know, just hypothetically, if it's you and it's you, the woman, or you, the man, you're the one who messes up the marriage, and then you're the one who walks away from it or messes it up, makes it irreparably damaged. Do you still deserve that spousal support?
Well, that's up for a judge to decide.
Yeah, it is up to a judge's side, but I'm saying just
but I think it doesn't change the fact.
speaking.
I think it doesn't change the fact that I have become, or that person has become, accustomed to a certain lifestyle, and I've allowed it, right? If I didn't ask you to maintain your own money, if I'm saying, hey, you know, this is me and you together, what's yours is mine and what's mine is yours, and we're doing this together over the course of time. Now, I'm not talking about 12 months, 72 months. I'm talking about like 5+ more years, and we're doing this together. What's yours is mine. You know, you could start a business, but it's still, everything is all in one pot, right? Everything we're doing is together. Then, I mean, yeah.
So let me paint this picture. You, Niele, you know, you're a billionaire. Somebody comes in, you know, they're a millionaire, but you're a billionaire, and you in love with that person, Niele. You love them. 10 years go by, you still in love. You still devoted. He's out there running around on you, and then he says, Niele, it's over, but I still want 50%, and I want you to support me forever. How do you feel about that?
Well, as long as it's 50%, like going back to this case, as long as it's 50% of what we acquired together, then, I mean, you know, I might be bitter and fight, but hey, that's fair game. But to Journey's point, like going beyond when I was a child and I didn't even know who you were. I mean, I could see that's where, you know, there's a gray line, and, you know, we might have to fight that out in court. But I mean, as long as you guys were together and you guys were happy, you've built a family, and we've been doing this together, I could kind of understand the person saying, hey, we did that together. While you were on the movie set, I was maintaining the household. I was supporting you. I was rubbing your back and rubbing your feet. I don't know if that was the case, but clearly they had some good times because they was together and they built a family together. And so, I mean, you know, I mean, I think it all goes back to watch who you marry. But sometimes relationships will make you bitter based upon what's happening inside that situation. So, hey.
So Greer says she knows men, for instance, who have gone broke just to maintain a relationship with their kids. That's horrible. And someone during COVID, she says, lost everything because the woman moved out the city and she was a doctor. They lived their life and she decided to leave. She wanted to break him. So you have those situations as well. It's unfortunate that the courts rarely, if ever, take all of that into consideration. I think that, like you said, is up to the judge, but it would be nice if they took all of that, at least in my opinion, if they took all of that into consideration. Now, Mike V, his thought on it was that You leave the relationship with what you bought. If you came with nothing, you leave with nothing.
Sounds like Mike V's gonna have a prenup that says it. he gonna make that plain in the prenup. But it's like that movie War of the Roses. You know what I mean? It's all good when it's good, but when it's bad, it's bad. But going back to Greer's point, I think that the system is set up, and this is rarely the one time where women have an advantage. But when it comes to men and their kids, I think in the court system, women do have an advantage. And I think that a lot of men go broke and are treated unjustly and unfairly when it comes to family court and kids. And they tend to favor the women's side without even considering. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, so sometimes when you leave it up to the judge, it's bad.
First and foremost, Dr. Marilyn says couples can put that clause in a prenup. And Mike V says, Niele, if you divorce him, he wants your Mustang. He's obsessed with the Mustang.
For sure.
For sure.
But so I mean, I wish her all the luck because it's hard out here. And even to pay for the attorneys, like, I'm sure he wants her to pay for his attorney fees while they fight this out. And then of course the system is set up for lawyers to make money too. You know what I mean? We can't forget about that. So while all of this is going on and we're talking about this, that lawyer fee is racking up, and I'm sure he wants her to pay for that, which goes back to my original statement. Sounds like he's still bitter and he's trying to break her.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's a shame. It's 2025. They split in 2019, officially divorced in 2021. So we are 6 years removed from their split and 4 years removed from the divorce, and the bitterness continues.
Which tends to tell me if she took him back, he would say, when can I come back? Can I come back right now?
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah, Mike, $400 for a lawyer, $400 an hour for a lawyer. Dr. Joni says divorce is just so painful and hard, especially when children are involved.
Yeah, and they feel that energy. So just think about the tension in that house. And I guess the nanny takes the kids back and forth because I mean, I wouldn't want to look at him. I couldn't. It would be like waiting to exhale.
Oh, Lord.
Remember Angela Bassett? It took her a minute. Okay. It took Angela Bassett a minute in waiting to exhale, so.
RG says, just take his advice and find you a brother with OJ tendencies. He will cut it out for you.
Ooh, now, RG. What?
I know, right? It's terrible. Greer says Josiah is sad. His lazy self could get a job.
That's the ex-husband's name, Josiah.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Sound like a biblical name. He needs to learn the root of his name. I bet you would teach him
Here
something.
we go. Oh gosh. Oh boy, she said he's never worked. So what's with this musician stuff then?
Well, the struggling musicians and actors are like they come a dime a dozen.
A dime a dozen.
Especially here in California. I mean, after 35, 40, okay, I can't sew into your dream. Now, you're going to have to dream and work.
Well, isn't that something? I have work. Yep. I'm so surprised that I have met and know, she says he's a DJ. She met him at a poetry reading. Oh, wow. But I have met several, particularly, females, younger females, and who still do this. They carry their man, their boyfriend or sometimes fiance, this lifelong fiance, because the fiance is chasing his dream of being a rapper. And they're like, oh, one day. And that one day, here we are, 10, 15 years and 4 kids later, he's still out there dreaming. You putting the load, carrying the load.
Yeah,
Right.
the pickings are slim out here, especially if you want a black man, it's slim. So, some women would rather have a hope and a dream than a empty house. You know what Luther say, a house is not a home. They want a home. And so if it's a broke man with a dream,
Mhm.
and he loving you right, you know what I'm saying, and every now and then he could put some money on the bill. Some women, hey, it's tough out here.
Gria says she got Love Jones.
you know
Well, it's like so what the picture that she paints here, so Greer really knows about this guy, is that of what you're saying. He's a dollar in a dream type guy, because he says he's a DJ. She met him at a poetry reading. He's a DJ with no regular gig. He sings and it never took off. Yeah, she got Love Jones.
and you have to remember, he had become accustomed to a certain lifestyle. When if she
Mhm.
divorced him 6 years ago, she was doing a lot of work. The Underground. She was in that show on HBO with Jonathan Majors. You know, he is accustomed to a certain lifestyle. And he has probably, sounds like he's never really worked. He don't want to work.
He must have
And
been a
he wants
mama's
to
boy.
live. He wants to live like he was living,
Mhm.
instead of getting a job. And I bet you she's like, I saw the signs and I didn't listen.
That $1 million probably long gone too. Mike
For
says
sure.
Mike V says she invested into a depreciating asset, a failed rapper, instead of going to an HBCU for the brother majoring in computer science or cybersecurity. There you go, Mike
And on the
V.
flip side, let's give him a little grace. Maybe, there's some things we don't know. Maybe Jesse doing some things we don't even know about. So let's give him a little grace. We not in that situation. I don't know. Maybe she is, pushing them buttons. Who knows?
It's hard to believe she'd be pushing buttons, but he has the kids. She's paying the support. It's hard to believe, knowing that he could. Well, I guess it's not too hard to believe. Maybe she's a little frustrated too. Could be
Have you
that
seen
too.
that movie War of the Roses with Michael Douglas? They're doing
And
a
my wife was
remake
just
of
talking
it.
about that.
We're
Yeah.
doing a remake of They're doing a remake of it, but that movie right there shows you, when you in love, you in love. They was getting the house remade and everything, and they killed each other in the end, because if you not gonna get it, I if I can't have it, you can't have it, and they literally killed each other.
Mm-mm-mm. Terrible, terrible, folks. You can keep writing into the chat, but we will go to other. She says people be hating watching their spouse go out to live their dream. Listen, I'm
Without
all
them,
for it.
without
I
them.
I'm all for it. I wish if my wife wanted to go out there and live her dream and be whatever it is. My wife is a tremendous singer. She's done shows, concerts, and stuff. But if she wanted to pursue that, I'd be right there for it. Especially if millions were coming in, I would be like, "You go ahead, girl." I'd be her biggest fan. I'd be
Yeah,
like,
now what
I'd
if
be
that
like
was the
Jay-Z
case?
coming out the elevator.
What if that was the case? You know what I'm saying? What if she was supporting the dream, but at
Y'all are
some
too
point
much.
she was supporting the dream,
Mhm.
but then she's like, okay, you're not bringing nothing to the table. I'm gonna need you to do a little more. Or maybe another scenario could be,
Right.
he wasn't taking care of his response. Oh, you got one job. You got one job, hubby. One job, and that's to make sure that the kids get to school every day, they bathe that night, they're fed every day, and I'll be the breadwinner. And what if he didn't even fulfill those requirements? And that's what I'm saying. There are all types of scenarios. You cannot get too invested in somebody else's situation, because we don't know all the scenarios that are
I'm
happening.
just cracking up because Greer got she have painted the scenario. She says she doing love scenes and then coming home to his broke behind, doing love scenes with Jonathan, then coming home to his trifling behind. And she's
Yeah,
not
but
saying
I'm saying,
behind.
maybe he's not doing what he's supposed to do. Maybe when she came home from Jonathan, he was supposed to have roses all up and down the hallway. surf and turf on the table. You know what I'm saying? You know, show me that you care. You know,
Oh man,
show me. Maybe he wasn't doing that.
you know, and Jonathan Majors, you know, he's got a good physique. He keeps himself in shape and everything. She probably rubbing on Jonathan's chest, come home, and
I
homeboy just
mean,
drinking beer.
forget Jonathan Major. I'm talking about what about Noah? Noah from the Underground. Noah was fine too. I forget his name, but Noah, his name was Noah in the Underground. Okay, she had some great love interests, so he should have been on his P's and Q's when that girl came home. Okay, and like Whitney Houston, he should have been giving her some good loving. Okay.
Oh,
You give good love to me. That's what that should have been
That's the
playing when she
requirement.
walked in the house. Okay.
that's the requirement, right?
Whitney Houston, you give good love. Okay.
It can't be that Missy Elliott 2-minute man either, right?
No. Because I got to go back to Noah in the morning. And guess what? We running. We running for freedom. Okay. I'm living out a sexual fantasy. I'm about to be a free slave. Just saying.
You said you're about to be a free slave.
You know, that's the Underground was a great show. Okay.
Wait a
And
minute now.
her and Noah, I mean, I just loved it. That broke my heart when they didn't bring that show back. But her and Noah, because when the show left, she was pregnant with Noah's baby.
Oh,
Okay, now
God.
that was love. That was a love story.
Well, listen, it's hard to get serious after you and Greer, but on a serious note, Dr. Marilyn says that she almost lived that she almost lived that movie when she went through her divorce. She says it was awful. Yeah.
Yeah, divorce is horrible. Especially when you know there's still feelings involved, and there are always going to be feelings involved. But very rarely do people have like mutual split or a mutual parting. There's always one that loves somebody more, or there's one that wants to be vindictive. So divorce isn't easy, and lawyers are expensive. So we do wish them the best.
Yeah.
And peace.
And peace more than everything, right? And one last hilarious note, Greer makes it. She's like, listen, I'm paying good money for good love, and he got dirty feet and fingernails. There's a problem.
Well, maybe that means he's working hard. You know, I won't say I want a man with dirty fingernails, but hard hands. That means he's hard at work. You know, I want no man with no soft hands. I want them Noah hands. You know.
Speaking of which, no. So what's the deal? What's the real story, folks? Niele, do you know with Alicia Keys and Swiss Beats?
I think it's just well, where there's smoke, sometimes there's fire. And so you never know. But I mean, they were celebrating their 16th wedding anniversary this week.
Really?
They were on a yacht. They were having a good time.
So they good.
And that's how they responded to those rumors. And
Yeah,
then, Mama Tina, Beyonce mama got to add her 2 cents. And she gonna retweet their post talking about, oh, y'all look so happy. I'm so happy for y'all. And I know Beyonce was like, mama,
Stay out of
mind
it.
your business.
Listen, I went to Alicia Keys concert a couple years ago, and I never really paid much attention to Alicia Keys. I'm gonna say something very chauvinistic right now, so y'all prepare. But I never paid attention to Alicia Keys, and then I went to a show. My wife was a big fan, and we went with a lot. It was like 25 of us that went. We had a box, and it was really nice in Philly. And I'm saying, I didn't know Alicia Keys had all that. I was like, good Lord, girl, where you been? I was like, okay. And we went to last year, we went to her speaking of Alicia Keys, if you haven't seen her Broadway,
It's called Hell's Kitchen.
Hell's Kitchen. I'm not a musical person, but I'm telling you, I would see it again. That was so extraordinarily done. And we happened to be sitting right in front of Alicia Keys' mom when we went. And you talk about, I didn't know it was her mom. My wife knows, she's a big Alicia Keys fan. She caught on, and then they, got a chance to talk. But throughout the entire show, the mom was, her mom was so enjoying it, talking about it throughout the show. I didn't know that was her behind us. But the show, folks, if you go to a musical on Broadway, you gotta go to see Hell's Kitchen. Oh my gosh.
It's been Tony nominated. She didn't walk away with it, and she was really excited about being nominated. But yeah, it's gotten rave reviews. But back to our subject that we were talking about, a lot of people
I want to
online.
talk about Alicia Keys.
No, I'm going to say something.
I'm kidding.
But
I'm
the
kidding.
subject that we were talking about them splitting up or something, a lot of people were saying how you get your man is how you lose your man, because there are, that Twist Beats was with his baby's mom when him and Alicia Keys got together. And so a lot of people are just like, what goes around comes around. But they seem happy. She was in the ocean. He was filming. He was like, that's the white side of her, because she was jumping off the yacht in the middle of the ocean. He was like, that's the white side. He said, but I'm going to stay right here on the boat. So, and a lot of times, and then the question does become, is, cheating a deal breaker in a marriage? If they say marriage is for a lifetime, you're going to have some problems. Is cheating, and I'm not saying habitual cheating, but is cheating a deal breaker in a marriage if it's for better, for worse, in sickness and in health, till death do you part? Is it a deal breaker? Chat, chime in.
Chime in, chat. Dr. Marilyn said, yes, Alicia Keys is shapely. The Greer said that's her black side. You mentioned her white side. Greer said that's her black side. I just said it's her backside. She said it's her black side. Oh gosh. She says, Greer says women are way more tolerant, Niele,
than men. Yeah. They're more forgiving than cheating of men. Men can't take it if their woman was with somebody else, but a woman can say, hey, you know what? Just don't let me know about it, because I'm sick of your ass anyway. Just make sure my bills are paid.
Just make sure the bills are paid. Dr. Jones says, for some people it is. For me, it would be. Nancy Wall says, cheating depends on the person. Oh.
And Big Cheese says it's not natural for a man to have just one. Boy, yeah, we know what side you on. You sound like you would have went to an Epstein party.
Wow.
I mean, he agree with anything the man do.
So, are there such things as hall passes?
You know what? With this Gen X and millennial generation, I believe they would be down for a hall pass. I think the older traditional people is like, I don't need to know about your hall pass. Okay, keep that shit to yourself.
just don't embarrass the family, right?
Right. Now, Trixie brought up a good point. Well, if you're separated during the marriage, is it really cheating?
No, you get divorced then, right?
Well, sometimes it's separate. Sometimes people separate. What if you're separated for like 6 months to a year, and you guys are just giving each other space, but during that time, something happens, and then you guys reconcile after 6 months to a year. But during that time, you guys were separated, living separately, co-parenting, but you separate. Is that when you guys get back together? Is that okay? What are the that's what I'm saying. Whatever happens in between a marriage between two people, that's their business, because it's all about what you allow and what you're able to tolerate. So I don't think we can really have an opinion, because if me and my husband decide to, do this or that, it might not be okay to you, or you might not have the capacity to handle it. So, some people's capacity, my pastor once said, and I'm going to end it like this. If your capacity is a sink, don't be mad if my capacity is a bathtub. And don't be mad at that person if their capacity is a river and that other person's capacity is an ocean. Just be concerned about what you have the capacity to handle. And I'll leave it at that.
Patricia Jackson says you're still married.
Okay, see? That is her capacity.
Yeah. Dr. Joni says, not everyone cheats. I want to know the truth, and cheating is a deal breaker. My husband and I discussed that decades ago. It is just different for everyone. And so I guess that's where you were going to.
Yeah, whatever your capacity is. Some people have separate bedrooms after so long being married. You know, people be married for 20 years and you want to watch football in your man cave, or you got your man cave and you got that all set up how you like it, and I got my little boutique over here the way I like it. Everybody has different. Sometimes you snore and you have one of them sleep packs on your nose, and I don't want to hear you snoring, so I'm gonna go get in my bed. Everybody has different things going on in their households.
Oh, wow.
Okay, we can't spend all the time.
Yeah, we gotta go because I'm seeing some
comments
comments that are just blowing me away. The University of Pennsylvania's Carey Law School has suspended applications for its Sadie T.M. Alexander full tuition scholarship program. It will close its Office of Equal Opportunity and Engagement by the end of this summer. It's just another Institute of Higher Education capitulating to Trump's brutally racist attacks on the diversity and educating people of color. Of course, he's against that.
Right.
The scholarship launched in 2021, and now it is going away, as is that whole entire office.
Yeah, that's horrific, and I think this is where we are missing the mark. And I think Gavin Newsom is showing us how to handle this Trump claim.
Oh, isn't he?
So when we say DEI, I think Democrats and pundits should change that to say he doesn't mean DEI. He's talking about Black folks. He wants to erase what all the strides that African Americans have made in this country when it comes to civil rights. Donald Trump is rolling back civil rights, and they need to make it plain. All of this DEI is like the KKK, the hood. It's like a hood. We need to start calling it what it is. And until we do that, there's no counter narrative. Like, we have adopted DEI. DEI is Black people. DEI is civil rights. DEI is everything that John Lewis, Dorothy Heights, Martin Luther King, Whitney Young, what's his name? Ralph Randolph, the NAACP founder. We need to, not founder, but president at the time when it was the Big Six. We need to start saying that DEI is an attack on Black people and the civil rights and the Civil Rights Act. That is the narrative we need to start countering with this DEI, because words matter, and it's just a hood. DEI is a hood. Take the hood off.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And it is awful, Dr. Joni. It's a Big Ten public university, and everybody is bowing down, kissing that ring, or being forced to somehow. But yeah,
it's not DEI. Right. It is taking away affirmative action, which and all of these are strides because of the Civil Rights Act. All of these are strides because white people wanted to oppress Black people. And that's the narrative that we have to stop countering with all this DEI mess.
Yeah, listen, they gave it a name, and you're right.
Take the hood off.
And for people to have any issue with those three things, diversity, equity, and inclusion, then they have a problem. You're the problem.
Right.
You're the problem. So
and start pushing back. DEI is what they're calling affirmative action. And affirmative action was necessary to try to balance the playing field from 100%. All the inequality and racism that white people have inflicted on Black people since 1619. Like, let's start saying what it is. Let's not just adopt Klan vocabulary.
Exactly. Folks, also this morning, there are disturbing accusations involving one of music's most beloved icons. Shanga Hankerson, the son of Gladys Knight, has gone on record publicly alleging that her Gladys's husband, William McDowell, who has managed much of her business for over 2 decades, is subjecting the 81-year-old singer to elder abuse. Gladys's son and other family members have made claims that Gladys Knight is experiencing cognitive decline, sometimes unable to form complete sentences, and they allege that she's being pushed to continue touring against her will. He points to moments on her recent Queens tour where fans noticed missed lyrics and background singers stepping in, insisting the only reason she's on the road is because her husband is forcing it. And the history between Hankerson and Gladys Knight is kind of complicated. She once sued him over unpaid taxes from his now defunct restaurant, but he says this is about love, not money. He says, that's my mom. I don't want her on a tour bus wondering where she's at. So Gladys Knight nor her husband, Mr. McDowell, have yet to respond publicly to these explosive claims. But this is, some serious stuff. The one thing I keep thinking about is, all of these Motown acts, these great Motown acts. Smokey Robinson's 85 years old and he's still performing. Otis Williams of the Temptations, he's in his 80s and he's out there performing. It's the Jackson brothers are all 70 years old, except for Randy, who's not performing. But Jackie and Marlon are out there performing with their kids. Motown acts have performed and continue. Barry Gordy is the youngest 90-plus-year-old I've ever seen. I don't know Gladys Knight's situation. Her son is making these claims, and this is the first time I've heard anything about her in cognitive decline. But these are serious allegations, Niele.
Yeah, so TSR broke the story. Excited to have Justin Carter. The Sun reached out to Justin Carter at the Shade Room to tell his side of the story. So shout out to the team at TSR for breaking this story. And so if you want to see the full episode, you can go to TSR Investigates on the Shade Room YouTube channel. Full episode is there. If you want to hear more about it, Justin Carter is coming on TSR Live tonight to talk about it. And all I can say is when I saw this, I can agree with the Sun. I was at the Queens tour in LA. And one of the things walking away from it and the conversation being had was like, wow, she had to be walked out to the stage. I think her mind to a certain point is still good because those songs still come off her tongue like natural. She's been singing them all her life. But she did had to have a lot of help. She was very slow and she seemed very fragile. And so not just the husband, but when the Black Collective, the promoters, I would be interested to see how they respond to this.
And those who are with the Stephanie Mills, Patti LaBelle.
Well, they're divas. Let me tell you right now, they're more concerned about their set and the air being right, the air being on, the air being off. They got their own, and most of the time, sometimes they don't even see who's before them or after them because they're in and out. But the promoters, the Live Nation and Black Collective, they know what's happening. They are the ones that are negotiating with her husband. And so I seen it with my own eyes, and I'm not mad at them being concerned about their mother because she did seem very frail and fragile. And so they felt like the best way to do it was to reach out to the Shade Room and get their story out. And we're talking about it right now. And so just praying for all of that, because we were talking about marriages, but with marriage comes family, right? And so, just imagine if they want to see their mother or be around their mother, all of that tension because they've exposed or accused the husband of something. So, it's a horrible situation for them.
Dr. Jones said music is almost always the last thing to go. Glenn Campbell could still sing a whole concert while in full dementia. And Michelle Madison says that she saw Gladys Knight when she was in Baltimore. She was phenomenal. Her mother loved the show. Michelle, let us know when that was. And what a career she has had. Dr. Jones says she should be allowed to retire and be safe as well as possible. We saw this play out with John Amos's family, his daughter and son for years. And of course, John Amos died last year. And it wasn't until a month later that it was revealed that he had died, and in large part because of the rift between the son and the daughter, talking about elder abuse and things of that nature. Elder abuse is a real thing.
Yeah, see, and Michelle, I seen her in May too. I actually saw her on Mother's Day. And she was very fragile to me. And the son also said that in the episode or in the segment that his mother told him, if it ever gets to a point and you see me, help me. Don't allow, me to, to be out there, not in all of my full faculties. And so people have, doubts about him because they're saying he lost his restaurant, so he may need whatever the case may be. He's not the only one that's speaking up about this situation. There were other people in the segment as well. But yeah, family, like you brought up John Amos, it's just sad, you know what I mean? That, we talked about marriages, but families break up too.
Well, exactly. And the other thing too, so this marriage, what is this, her third marriage? And I bring that up because he is so much younger than her. I believe Mr. McDowell is like 48 years old, 49 years old. And so that's an alarm for many people. When they think about, okay, so he's married this icon, and he wasn't around, of course, when she was becoming this icon at the height of everything, when the money was rolling in constantly. Not saying that she doesn't have residual checks and things of that nature rolling in, but he's getting this money, or she's making this money now still, and he doesn't want those paychecks to end. It could be that case, but again, I'm not sure his age, but the last I heard, somebody online mentioned he was 48, 49 years old. Not sure.
Yeah, and just by how fragile she looks on stage, yeah, he's keeping them checks coming in to maintain that lifestyle. Just like Jesse Smollett's husband need a little increase so he can maintain the lifestyle that he used to live.
Yeah, how about that? And again, Dr. Joni says everyone deserves their dignity. People who've been in the spotlight their whole adult lives, had amazing careers. They should not be pushed out on stage to milk every last dollar from her gifts. Shonda H says that's very unfortunate to hear about Gladys Knight. That sounds similar to Larry Blackman from Cameo and his health decline.
Or what about Alexander O'Neal? Have y'all seen Alexander O'Neal lately? Jesus Christ, bless that man. I mean,
is it that bad?
He was, wow. But the second leg of the Queen's tour with Shaka Khan, Stephanie Mills, Patti LaBelle, and our beloved Gladys Knight, the second phase is coming up. So she's still on tour, and I think that's why this is coming out now, because they're about to start the second leg of this tour. So, like I said, it'll be interesting to see how Live Nation. Because really, if something happens and that family decides to file a lawsuit, guess who they going for? It ain't gonna be the broke husband. It's gonna be Live Nation and the Black Collective. And the Black Collective, all the tours that you see, a lot of the Black tours, they're behind it in partnership with Live Nation. So this might go beyond the husband.
Well, yeah, and you're right. That's something for the promoters to think about, because, and I'm sure they are thinking about it. I'm sure that there are conversations probably happening as we have this conversation. I'm pretty sure there are conversations, and I'm pretty sure that they want to protect their interests. Gladys Knight or no Gladys Knight, they want to protect their interest, and I'm sure they've had conversations with him and probably her directly. So we will see how this plays out. And it's interesting, folks, as Niele said, I'll be watching the Shade Room for this interview.
All right. Tonight, 5:30 Central Time. That's what time we kick off. Couple more headlines. Former New York Governor David Paterson has endorsed Mayor Eric Adams in his reelection bid amid the crowded race for the Big Apple. Now, a new poll released on Tuesday shows Mandami leads in the mayoral race by almost 20 points. So all these endorsements, Mandami is still at the forefront leader of this mayor's race. And it'll be interesting because I don't believe Schumer or Jeffries has endorsed anybody yet.
So Governor Patterson has decided. Does he see what he's doing? No, he can't see what he's doing.
What?
Yeah, I'm just pointing that out there.
Oh my
Anyway,
God. Let's head to the West Coast, where California Governor Gavin Newsom is urging Illinois and New York to press ahead with redistricting efforts as GOP lawmakers continue to push to pick up 5 additional seats in Texas, and with talks in Indiana as well. Now, Newsom said, right now, forget the talking. It's not about press. It's time to move. You got to move. I mean, enough. Newsom is looking to put the redistricting measure on a special election ballot here in California in November. So although he's pushing it, he's still leaving it up to us, the people, to make the decision for the redistricting. And we 10 toes down, like Nipsey Hussle says. So Gavin Newsom is looking more and more like the person we need to go against Donald Trump. I mean, the tweet that he put out yesterday, and he called Kate Lyon. He called her name Kate Lyon.
He's not.
I mean, that's in all caps. And the fact that Donald Trump has not said one word shows you that he has. He wants to respond, but I think he might be afraid, Stacy.
Trump is gonna, he's making this big to-do about having this UFC event at the White House. What they should do to make it real interesting is have Gavin Newsom square off against Trump for the presidency, and whoever wins, they get the presidency on the spot. That's what they should do. There you go.
See, I thought you were gonna say they should make those big signs with Newsom's head on it at the 250th anniversary, and just
can't you see Newsom, taking off the robe, getting into the ring, and Trump on the other end, probably keeping his robe on, and hey, winner takes all. Takes all, no holds barred.
Right. And Big Cheese, I think it's more than just Newsom becoming president. I think he's showing the Democratic Party and people how to fight back. Nobody to this point, we saw a hint of it with Cory Booker when he did the 24-hour marathon, but somebody has figured out how to talk back. And not only that, he's mobilizing and energizing the people. He's energizing the protest. People want it because as of now, the Democrats haven't given us anybody, to say, hey, who's fighting for us? But it looks like Newsom is, he's like, he wants the smoke. So if he and here's my question, Stacy, for you on the chat. Wes Moore is looking presidential. He's coming out. He's tweeting in caps too. He tweeted in caps yesterday too.
I missed that.
Yeah, he tweeted in caps. He put the body of it, regular, but the beginning and the end, he put in all caps. Do you think it's going to take a white man to even possibly go against Donald Trump? Do you think a person of color will be able to last in a presidential election against Donald Trump?
Well, and I think that might be why, as Mike V noted again, that Governor Newsom once again has said he is not running in 2028.
Wes Moore.
Governor Wes Moore, right? I think that is probably one of the big reasons Wes Moore is like, let me sit this one out, because the important part is getting this guy out of office. And yes, I believe that it can't be a woman, black or white. It has to be a white man. Unfortunately, it has to be a white man. And right now, when you look around, you need look no further than California, because Gavin Newsom right now is that man.
He's not afraid, and he wants the smoke. I mean, and his communications team, his PR team is on point. The way they are firing off them tweets. Okay.
Yeah, they are. Without question, I saw somebody comment on one of the tweets that whoever is running this count needs a raise
For sure. Mhm.
So
So
there
we're
you
gonna
go.
see with Kate Lyon. He said when Kate Lyon gets in there today, let's see what she has to say. If
So
she
wait, but go ahead, finish that thought.
No, I was just gonna say if she doesn't say anything about Newsom today, there has been a memo throughout that White House to say do not engage because they do not want to give Newsom any type of publicity because they are running scared. There's a memo if she doesn't say anything today going through that White House.
Yeah, a couple of quick things on that too. First, Dr. Joni says, I wish all Democrats would end every post with "Thank you for your attention to this matter." I like that.
Yeah.
But Mike V is asking, could it be that Westmore is tapped to be a VP? And again, it could be, but I also believe, unfortunately, and I could be, obviously I could be
There it
wrong,
is
and
right
if I'm
there.
wrong, I'm wrong. But I also believe that because this country and led by this guy, Donald Trump, is at its most racist that it has shown, I should say, in decades. I think that you have to have a white ticket.
You do. I told that's why black folks are sitting it out. That's why we had Martha's Venue. That's why we got our fans and boots on the ground. White folks gonna have to fix this. We tired, and the climate of this country, like that man with that Subway sandwich, it got to be them.
Yeah.
And we'll film it. We'll film it, and we'll put it on social media for you. We'll film it. We'll help you make the signs.
Maybe Gavin Newsom should throw a Subway sandwich at Trump. Maybe he should do that.
You know what? And let me tell you, yesterday, Stacy, real quick, because I know we got to move on. When I was watching that Kennedy's honor press conference yesterday, I was thinking about the time when that person threw that shoe at George.
At George Bush.
And I was like, can somebody throw a shoe?
That was the most hilarious thing because Bush was like, he was looking at the
I wanted somebody to throw a shoe at him so bad. Or I was thinking like a baseball bat. My mind just went there. Like
he
a
was
shoe, something.
Which country was he in? It was one of those Middle Eastern countries. I forget which country where it happened, but the shoe represent for that particular country and time. It was like the highest or the biggest insult you can do to an official, and so it was like throwing the shoe, and it threw two shoes, right?
Possibly, but
I remember Bush ducking and diving. The look on his face was priceless.
Right. But see, Donald Trump, he wouldn't even know. He would get hit in the head. That's why I want somebody. He wouldn't even know how to do it. But Mike V is saying it wouldn't be Gavin versus Trump. It would be Gavin versus Vance. And see, I'm not as optimistic. I don't think Donald Trump is going anywhere.
No.
He's fixing. That's why he's doing all the redistricting. That's why he's, about to gut the Voting Rights Act again, because he doesn't plan on leaving. At all.
And it's not because folks can argue, well, he wants to look out for the next Republican. It's not that. He doesn't look out for anybody. It's about him.
Yeah, he's not leaving. He's not. It'll be a civil war before he leaves. He's not going nowhere. That's why he said he's fixing the White House. He's putting all that gold crap all around it.
$250 million ballroom that they're doing in the White. Does that tell you that he's going somewhere?
He's not leaving. That's what we need to understand. That's what I'm saying. The Democratic Party, they need to get their shit together because it's too many talking points. It's too many talking points that they need to be change the DEI narrative, change that. Start talking about Trump has already showed reporters his 2028 hats. Y'all should be running with that.
Yep.
These are not hyperboles. These are facts. He's telling us what he's gonna do. He's showing us what he's gonna do. And I still don't hear no talking points from Democrats.
Well,
so we got to keep it moving. I know we got to keep it moving. Let me check the chat and see what Greer is saying. Okay, I think we can still go. Okay, so let's talk a little bit why Democrats need to push their talking points. And one of them, we talked about DEI. They need to address that. They need to address Donald Trump and the what's at stake with him running in 2028. It's unprecedented. But let's talk about privatized prisons. Now, during an earnings call last week, GO Group and CoreCivic announced increase in revenue from new and current contracts with ICE. divvied out by none other than Donald Trump. Now, George Zoley, who was the chairman of the GEO Group, ICE's largest contractor, said the utilization of their current ICE contracts increased. He said it's the highest level in the company's history. Now, according to ABC, the group reported a second quarter revenue of $636 million. Okay, 636 million and counting. A 5% increase from the second quarter in 2024. So there we have it. And then if we head down to Tennessee, where leaders in Mason, Tennessee, a town near Memphis, has approved to reopen the West Tennessee Detention Facility as a site for undocumented immigrants. Now, the detention center is owned and operated by CoreCivic, the other big private prison contractors. Now, CoreCivic was previously fined $44 million over the last 3 years for, check this out, y'all, violations that include understaffing, in addition to audits unveiling improper documentation of inmate deaths and use of force by correctional officers, according to Associated Press. And that's not for undocumented immigrants. That's just for privatized prisons. So we're talking about Black people now, okay? About the unveiling of the deaths. So in recent months, CoreCivic has pursued legal recourse to gain contracts with the federal government to run immigration detention centers in New Jersey and Kansas. And that's all because Donald Trump is allowing them to have all of this access to all of these detention centers to reopen. And he don't give a damn.
Yeah. And David Youngblood says, wait until the profits are announced next year.
For sure. For sure. So when we talk about, DEI, when we talk about 2028, and when we look at what's happening with privatized prisons, we just gave the Democratic Party 3 talking points. Okay, just 3. And I ain't heard them talk about near, Stacy.
Well, Shonda H says that there needs to be an overhaul of leadership with the Dems. As long as the current guard stay at the helm, she says they're going to likely lose. She says the Dems are prioritizing seniority over voter electability.
As the young folks do. When you pop in, they do this.
I want to weigh in on this here.
Please.
I think one of the things that we act like this is something new, the prison industrial system is the oldest. That's what slavery was, right? Mm-hmm. How they were able to continue to make money after slavery was they created, well, we talked about the chain gangs and all of that. This is not, that was what the 13th Amendment was all about, mm-hmm. right? So this is something that these white folks, I'm sorry to say, they're holding on to this. And right. this is so 2 centuries ago.
But the evolution is the new target. Back then it was Black folks. The new target.
But we're still the target, truth be told. Right?
We are, but the major target right now is undocumented immigrants. They're opening up all of these counts under the premise. Now it'll get back to us, but right now it's Latinos outnumber Black folks, and so that's the new cattle for them. That's the new head count for them, Latinos.
Right, and anybody who, God forbid, doesn't have an education, who's sitting on the street on their step, having a cigarette and drinking a beer. I mean, this is what's happening in Washington. They are stopping Howard University students on their campus. Right. Yeah. So, I don't want us to, the thing that I don't want to do is for us to start slipping. I'm going to tell you the truth. One of my, my comrades called me last night, was like, what we got to do? We got to get in them streets. I said, baby, it's their turn now. You got to remember the civil rights movement and the Black Power movement happened because of young people. They need to listen to the stories that we have to tell, because the difference is that many of us have lived this already, right? We need to, and so and we're not going to be a Core Masters, Mary Berry's ex-wife. She was out in the streets calling for some things, and I'm saying, Core, Mary Berry ain't out in these streets no more. These kids have gotten very comfortable. And I'm gonna just say something that's not very popular. Nobody wants to see their kid get locked up or be swooped up by the, by the the paddle waddles, whatever what they call
Paddy
them.
wagons.
No, we don't want them swooped up. But sadly, they're gonna have to see some of them swoop up to understand how serious this is. Because I don't believe, young people understand how serious this is. Like we are in danger. And the fact that the conversation is being focused on immigrants, we need to not sleep on that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, for
We're
sure.
seeing that in DC, as you said. Right now, we're seeing them go after even Howard University students. They're stop anybody black or non-white. They're asking for ID and stuff like that. So it's crazy.
Yeah. It's insane, and it's insane how these privatized prisons are evolving into just continuing to keep their pockets full, and then to have an ally with the Trump Klan administration to fill us up. And we know that, it's brown folks today, it'll be black folks tomorrow. We definitely know that for sure. But I just, these privatized prisons, we were making strides to get rid of them.
Didn't
We
Obama
were
sign
closing
a
those
bill to get rid of
detentions.
them?
Yeah, and I know here in California, one of the candidates that's running for governor, Tony Thurmond, he was a huge proponent of closing privatized prisons here in California, and so all of those strides are going away. And we know that how they make money is by putting people in those beds, and so we're less than 13% of the population nationally. Latinos are what, like 40, and they're and major a lot of them are undocumented, right? And so, that's how they do it. And then, of course, yeah, we know they're going to come for us. But at this point in the game, we all got to be vigilant, whether it's a Subway sandwich, whether it is a protest sign. We have to keep resisting this Klan.
Wow.
Yeah. On a brighter note, let's do a little couple of sports headlines before we get out of here. The NBA has approved a $6.1 billion sale for the Boston Celtics. Now, the team's sale will go to a group led by Bill Chisholm. And the NBA Board of Governors voted unanimously on the sale. So the Lakers, they sold for billions about 2 months ago, and now here we have the Boston Celtics. Do you think this is going to matter or help upgrade the franchise?
Oh, so one of the things the Celtics did prior to this sale, this offseason, they've traded off or sold off their best players. As their very best player, they knew he got injured during the playoffs this past season and is not expected to play at all next season. So what generally happens, it didn't happen in the case of the Lakers though, but what generally happens 99% of the time, and the Lakers being the exception, is that just before a sale, this is one telltale sign that your team is about to be sold, when they start selling off all of their assets, the current regime. And that's what the Celtics did. So this came as, really, if you're paying attention as a sports fan, it's not a big surprise. Now, will it help the franchise? It doesn't really make a difference, that much of a difference. I don't think at this point, because they will be rebuilding. So that means that the new ownership, they won't kick out a whole lot of money in the beginning. So the Celtics, they probably will be a team that will fight to get into the play-in for the next couple of years before they're able to retool and become the Celtics that people have come to know, this powerhouse.
Right. When you said that selling off stuff, it reminded me of, I don't know if you guys have seen the limited series show called Winning Time. Winning Time is about, Jerry Buss buying the Lakers. And everything that you said reminded me of some of those episodes about how and what it took for Jerry Buss to buy the Lakers, to acquire the Forum, and build that basketball team to be, one of the best rivals in basketball that we saw against the Boston Celtics. And so if you haven't seen that, If you want to understand about ownership and basketball and just have a nostalgic experience, watch Winning Time on HBO Max. And last but not least, today is Venus Williams Day. So Barbie is honoring Venus Williams with her own doll. The 7-time Grand Slam champion doll is available today. So you can get your loved one, your little baby girl, Mattel Barbie doll, made in the likeness and image of Venus Williams, and it's available at Mattel Creations and major retailers. So happy Venus Williams Day. That's what we're gonna call it today.
All right, and there's
that.
Venus.
There she is.
That's pretty cool to have a figurine or doll or whatever in your image. That's pretty cool.
That's it.
All right. So on this date, folks, going to give Black history facts. In 1862, President Abraham Lincoln held a meeting with a delegation of prominent African-American leaders at the White House. Now, this meeting, folks, the first of its kind, was held on this date in 1862, and Lincoln's primary purpose for this unprecedented meeting was to advocate for the colonization of African Americans outside of the United States. His motivation, he believed that separation of the races was the most suitable path to peace, and that coexistence between whites and Black Americans was not possible in the United States. So he sought support from the Black leaders for his plan to resettle African Americans in countries abroad, possibly in Central America or Africa. This was part of a larger plan to make emancipation more acceptable to conservatives and to gradually prepare the public mind for such a drastic shift in policy. Wow.
Right. And today in Black History, we celebrate an HBCU that has had several name changes. Now, check this out, y'all. On August 14th, 1876, Prairie View A&M University was established. However, originally it was known as Alta Vista Agricultural and Mechanical College of Texas for colored youth. Now, the university had its beginning in Texas due to the Constitution of 1876, pledging that separate schools shall be provided for the white and colored children, and for impartial provisions shall be made for both. And then the school was originally named after the Alta Vista Plantation. Okay. Now, in 1879, the school's name was changed by the Texas legislature to Prairie View State Normal School. On January 1st, 1945, the school's name was changed to by the Texas legislators to Prairie View University. And in 1973, the name was changed again by the legislators to Prairie View A&M University. So happy Founders Day to the students, alumni, staff of Prairie View A&M. Go Panthers!
All right. Our Black-owned newspaper of the day is the Muslim Journal. The Muslim Journal is a publication focused on the American Muslim experience, aiming to provide a platform for Muslim voices and connect the Muslim community. It evolved from the Nation of Islam's newspaper, briefly known as Bilalian News and World Muslim News, before adopting its current name. The journal is circulated through paid subscriptions and a network of vendors across the U.S., and it reaches 175 cities and towns. Its subscriber base also extends to the Caribbean and other countries like Saudi Arabia, Malaysia, and several African nations. So our Black-owned newspaper of the day is the Muslim Journal. So check them out, folks.
Yes, assalamu alaikum. And for the latest in Black news, you can visit BlackPressUSA.com.
All right, and we will visit with us again tomorrow. It's Friday, so we should have some fun. We'll see you then.